Hello and welcome to another episode of the Far Off Show, where it is a new season here on the Far Off Show. So that's why I have a huge mic that I don't know if it's working or not. So we might be using shotgun mic audio. Hopefully it's this new mic. And we're talking about Spider-Man Far From Home Extended Edition. So let's show off the card. I didn't want to make another Spider-Man head, to be honest, so I went with this. I think it looks pretty sweet. So I thought it was a good time to talk about Far From Home Extended Edition, which I actually just saw, or Extended Cut, or as I'm calling it, Further From Home. I don't know what to call it, really. So, Far From Home Extended Edition here. Notice more plot holes, to be honest. That should be expected. I'm really looking for new scenes in a movie that has only about 10 minutes of it. So, there's a new scene where, new scenes are, to be honest, welcome, but they didn't add much. For example, Peter getting ready for his trip, that was one of them. That scene where or the thing that you thought you'd see in the trailer where it's him getting prepared, getting ready, to go out, have some fun with his friends, which is cool, don't get me wrong, it's really cool, but it's kind of like, well, it didn't happen. Alright, I guess we'll just have to deal with it. So, then, the next thing was the fight scene that was in the trailer originally, which I thought was pretty sweet. It was in the trailer, it was pretty sweet. It was him talking to the cops afterwards, which it was in the trailer, but to be honest, it didn't need to be here either. I feel the only scene that was actually cool was Mysterio when he was talking to the fake tourists. He was like telling, you gotta post this on social media, post it everywhere. They were actors. So it was kind of cool seeing those guys. And really, we forgot to talk about the Spidey cam. This is probably one of the few times that we get to use it, so let's talk about it a little bit here where I don't use it enough. New audio, you can see the mic really good there. So, let's talk here. One last thing before we get off here. I'm excited for this new season. I think it's going to be the best one yet. I am excited to try new things like the Spidey cam, maybe have some guest directors with different angles than what I would normally do with this and that. So, I'm excited to see where this goes, to be honest. I think this is going to be the best season, like I said, yet. Hands down. And then, before we get off here, I gotta talk about Sony and Disney with Spider-Man in the MCU. I think part of the reason Sony released this is because, well, they're not going to have Spider-Man in the MCU, so why not make an extended cut? Which makes sense. I'm still saddened, but in my original video, I blamed Sony completely. I think it's kind of a 50-50, more like a 60-50, or excuse me, like a 30-70 or 25-75. So, after reevaluating it all, I want to take back some of the blame from Sony because partially it's not their fault. They sold the film, or they sold all the action figure rights to Disney. Pretty much Disney owns everything but the film rights at this point to Spider-Man. And part of the comic book rights, to my knowledge. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments below. But really, why would Sony want to give up part of their movie when they didn't make any money from Infinity War or Endgame or Civil War by providing their character to Marvel? Yet Marvel wants 50% of their movies, which, sure, makes sense. They're getting 5 right now. I would want more too if I was Marvel, but at the same time, come on, Marvel. Come on. Make it like 10, maybe 15, and that seems reasonable. So that's how much blame I'm going to put on Sony. About 15. And then the rest is on Marvel, to be honest. So, I don't know. It's a sad thing where the fans are going to lose. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited to see what Spider-Man, or, the MCU does. And excited to see what Sony does with Spider-Man. I'm thinking Spider-Man's going to be getting a little better. Or stay about the same quality-wise. I don't know exactly. But I think it'll be a cool time. So, what did you think of Spider-Man Far From Home? Have you seen it? What do you think of the Sony Spider-Man and Disney MCU thing going on? Tell me in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and have a far off night.